Somewhere right now you are staring at a list of mini-split brands, maybe on a website, maybe at a supply house, maybe on a big box store page, and you are about to spend somewhere between $1,500 and $4,000 on a single unit. That is real money. Money you cannot easily get back if you pick wrong. And the person at the counter, or the algorithm serving you ads, is not going to tell you the truth about which of those brands is going to be running quietly in 15 years, and which one is going to leave you hunting for parts that no longer exist. I have watched this play out more times than I can count. I have seen brand new installs fail inside 2 years. I have also seen units run flawlessly for well over a decade in garages, spare bedrooms, additions, and sunrooms. The difference almost always comes down to the brand. Not the price tag on the sticker, not the BTU number, not which one had the flashiest remote. The brand. Before we go any further, if you want the deeper breakdown beyond what this video can cover, open your camera app right now and scan the QR code on the left side of your screen. The guide goes further on this topic than a single video can, and it is worth having before you spend this kind of money. That same QR code is now pinned in the top right corner for the rest of the video, so you can scan it at any point. No need to stop what you are doing right now. Here is the myth I want to knock down before we go any further. A lot of folks believe that mini splits are basically the same inside, just with different logos slapped on. The thinking goes, they all come from factories in Asia, so what is the difference? That is wrong, and I will tell you why. The engineering decisions, the quality of the compressor, the control boards, the coil coatings, how the refrigerant circuit is built, vary enormously from manufacturer to manufacturer. A unit that looks identical in specs on paper can last 8 years or 20, depending on who actually designed and built the core components. The logo matters more than most people think. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly which brands I would put in my own home, which ones I consider solid but not spectacular, which ones I would approach with caution, and which ones I would walk right past. You will walk away from this knowing more than most of the contractors trying to sell you something, and you will never have to guess at this again. Let us start at the top. If I had one brand I would recommend without hesitation, it is Mitsubishi Electric. Their residential mini-split line has been setting the standard for decades now, and in my experience, it is not even a close contest for long-term reliability. The compressors are built to handle extreme temperatures. Their hyperheat models keep pulling usable heat out of outdoor air even when temperatures drop well below freezing, which matters enormously if you are in the northern United States or northern Europe. The control boards are well designed, the error codes are readable, and when something does go wrong, parts are available. The warranty support from Mitsubishi is among the best in the industry. You will pay more upfront. Expect to pay meaningfully more than a budget brand for the same capacity. But the 10-year cost of ownership, factoring in repairs, efficiency, and longevity, tilts hard in their favor. If I were buying one unit for my home today, this is where I would start. Right alongside Mitsubishi sits Daikin. Daikin is one of the largest HVAC manufacturers in the world, and that scale matters because it means they invest heavily in engineering and quality control. Their residential mini-splits are exceptionally well built, their efficiency numbers are genuine, and their contractor network in the United States has grown considerably. Where I give a slight edge to Mitsubishi is in parts availability at the local level. Daikin parts can occasionally take longer to source depending on where you live, but that is a small gap, and if you get a competitive quote on a Daikin unit from a certified installer, it is an excellent choice. Do not let anyone talk you out of it. Fujitsu is the third name in the top tier, and I will be honest, They do not always get the credit they deserve. Fujitsu has been making mini splits for a very long time. Their cold climate performance is exceptional, and their units tend to run quietly and efficiently. The main knock on Fujitsu historically was that their service support infrastructure was thinner than Mitsubishi's, but that has improved. If you are looking at a Fujitsu quote, take it seriously. These are well-engineered machines. Now I want to tease something here, because the next section is where things get interesting, and where most folks get steered wrong. There is one brand that sits in the middle of this market that I see pushed very aggressively by big box stores, and the story behind who actually makes it will either reassure you or surprise you, depending on what you already know. Hold that thought for just a minute. Moving into the solid middle tier, LG makes a good mini split. Their HVAC division is serious. Their efficiency ratings are reliable, and I have seen plenty of LG units run well for many years. The concern I have with LG is on the service side. If you need a warranty repair, the experience has been inconsistent depending on your region. The units themselves are generally sound, but make sure you have a qualified local dealer who services them before you buy. LG without a strong local service relationship is a bigger gamble than LG with one. Bosch mini splits, which in the residential space have been associated with products engineered or influenced by established HVAC manufacturers, occupy a similar position. Decent units, reasonable quality, but the brand story behind the actual hardware is worth understanding before you buy. Ask your installer specifically about parts availability in your area. That question alone will tell you a lot about whether Bosch is the right call in your market. Now, here is the brand I mentioned I would come back to. MrCool is one of the most aggressively marketed mini splits in the United States right now, and the DIY line in particular is everywhere. I am not going to tell you MrCool is junk, because it is not. For a secondary space, a garage, a workshop, a rarely used guest room, the DIY line is a reasonable product at a reasonable price. What I will tell you is this: MrCool is not in the same category as Mitsubishi or Daikin for a primary living space in a home you are planning to be in for the next 15 years. The compressors in the entry-level MrCool units are sourced from manufacturers in the budget tier, and in my experience, budget tier compressors shorten the service life noticeably. Use it for what it is, an accessible, affordable option for lower stakes applications, and you will not be disappointed. Expect it to perform like a primary system for the next 20 years, and you may be. If you want to go deeper on the brand-by-brand breakdown, then I can cover in a single video, including the details on what separates these units at the component level. That is exactly the kind of thing the guide is for. Open your camera app and point it at the QR code in the top right corner of your screen. It is still there, and it opens the guide instantly without typing a thing. Now let us talk about the brands I would not buy at all. Pioneer, Senville, and the wide range of generic brands sold under store labels or through direct import sites, these are almost universally built around the lowest cost components available. The compressors and control boards in these units come from manufacturers at the bottom of the supply chain, and the results show. I have seen these units fail inside of 18 months. I have watched folks chase warranty claims through importers who have no real service infrastructure. The upfront savings, sometimes $1,000 or more compared to a quality brand, evaporate the first time you need a service call, and they tend to come early. If you are on a tight budget and a quality mini split is truly out of reach, you are almost always better off with a well-maintained window unit than a cheap mini split. At least window unit parts are findable. There is one more layer here that the brand rankings alone will not tell you, and it is the one I see overlooked constantly. The brand of the unit matters. The quality of the installation matters just as much, and possibly more. I have seen top-tier Mitsubishi systems underperform for years because the line set was undersized, the vacuum pull was rushed, or the unit was oversized for the space. A great unit with a sloppy install will give you headaches. An average unit with a careful, correct install will outperform it every time. So when you are evaluating quotes, ask the installer specifically how long the vacuum pull process takes. A proper deep vacuum takes time. If someone tells you they will be in and out in 2 hours on a first-time install, that is worth asking about. The installer is as much a part of this decision as the brand. Also worth knowing, refrigerant matters. Most modern mini-splits use R410A or the newer R32. If someone is quoting you a unit still running on an older refrigerant type, that is worth understanding before you commit, because service costs on older refrigerant types have climbed significantly in recent years as availability has tightened. Here is the plain summary of where I land on all of this. If you are putting a mini split in a primary living space in a home you plan to be in for the long haul, I would look at Mitsubishi first, then Daikin, then Fujitsu. All three are proven, all three have real service networks, and all three are worth the premium. If budget is a real constraint, LG with a strong local dealer relationship is a reasonable step down. I would approach MrCool with clear eyes, useful for the right application, not a substitute for the top tier. And the budget import brands? I would leave them on the shelf. Here is the anti-marketing truth. Nobody in this industry wants to say plainly. The brands making the most money on mini splits are often the ones spending the most on advertising, not the ones building the best machines. The reliable brands do not need to shout. Their track record does the talking. This week, if you are in the research phase, take the 3 top-tier brands, Mitsubishi, Daikin, Fujitsu, and get a quote on each from a certified local dealer. Do not just compare the unit price. Ask about the warranty terms, ask about local parts availability, and ask the installer how long the vacuum pull takes. Those 3 questions will tell you everything. This month, once you have narrowed it down, do not rush the installation timing. A good installer, who is slightly further out on their schedule, is almost always worth the wait over an available installer who cuts corners. Before you go, if you want the fuller picture on everything this video touched on, open your camera app and scan the QR code in the top right corner of your screen right now. The guide goes deeper on the things a short video can only begin to cover, and it will give you a clearer picture before you spend this kind of money. I hope this helped you cut through some of the noise. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you installed a mini split and had a great experience, or had one go sideways on you? I read every one. If you found this useful, subscribing means you will not miss the next one. Coming up soon, we are going to talk about what size mini split you actually need versus what most contractors quote you. That gap is bigger than you might think. See you there.